It costs that much cause it takes me fucking hours. It costs that much cause I don't have superpowers. So you need to pay for my skills cause exposure doesn't pay the bills. It costs that much cause it takes me fucking hours. You need to pay for my skills cause exposure doesn't pay the bills. It costs that much cause it takes me fucking hours.
Shut up, bitch!
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
School and all James Woods can say is, ooh, I'll be second day. 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 When a Bowen turned into a vampire, all James Woods could say was, ooh, I'll be second day. 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 When he became Peter's best friend, they sat around the house and said, ooh, I'll be second day. 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 And you know that James Woods practices lines real well, but everything that he reads becomes real hard to spell. Everyone tries to help him, but the words just won't come out. There's only one thing he can think of, and it's what comes out his mouth. Ooh, I'll be second day. 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 When he comes out of his house, the women scream and shout. Ooh, I'll be second day. 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 When they know that he's an actor, the best of them always says, ooh, I'll be second day. 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 Reese's Pieces on the floor and watch him come a saying, ooh, I'll be second day. 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 And you know that James Woods practices lines real well, but everything that he reads becomes real hard to spell. Everyone tries to help him, but the words just won't come out. There's only one thing he can think of, and it's what comes out his mouth. Ooh, I'll be second day. 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 When he comes out of his house, the women scream and shout. Ooh, I'll be second day. 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 Ooh, I'll be second day.
Fucking thing sucks!
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Extra Bulla Live, or Bulla Live, or however the hell you want to call it. Just don't call us late for supper. We brought him over. We imported him from the secret show. Oh no, not that guy.
my penis!
Oh no, we were a family show. What happened? Anyway, we still got this old bastard though, so please, if you haven't done so already, like, share, subscribe. The old man gets the beating, as he should in life. So, anyway, thanks for that. And let's go ahead and bring in the guest. We got the co-host of the Political Matrix and the host of Been Thinking with the title character, Marcus Cage. What is up, my friend?
Thank you for having me on. Glad to be here. I'm doing good. You know, another long day at work. Rush home. Excited to get to sit down with you. How's your day going, Warren?
Man, you know, and I was been looking forward to this all week. Cause, all right, so the first time you were on with like the bigger Matrix crew, right? And then the second time you were on, it was just you and Chris, and I think Steve may have been on there too.
Yes,
Steve Poikinen. So now we're getting you solo. So we narrowed it down from big clumps to little bitty. So finally, we got the man solo here in the bunker.
I don't know. This might be a depression of a show. You know, nothing without the rest of everybody else who's around me.
Are you saying you were Gladys Knight without the pips? Is that what it is? Are you pipless?
No, I am the pips.
I'm the
See,
pits.
what people don't realize is the other people, they're the stars.
See, look at you. Captain Humble has arrived from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put him up full screen. Captain Humble, sir. Yes, you're in times of greed and self-cynicism. You are definitely in need. How will you help, sir, in these trying times? I can't talk.
Well, hopefully the way that I can help is any way that I can. I mean, when I used to play sports, like basketball, for example, any team that I would be on, I would try to figure out what the team doesn't have. If we had a team where we had problems rebounding, then I would try to make rebounding my thing. If we had a problem with defense, then I would try to make defense my thing. If we had a problem bringing the ball up court and distributing, that's what I would try to do. So I just try to figure out wherever we have a hole, I can try to fit in, help out, wherever I can.
That sounds good. That sounds like the team sports answer. You just got off the field. You just defeated the 49ers in the Super Bowl, and you're down on the sideline, and one of those nice little 4'9" ladies that they hire for the networks was holding the microphone up saying, "Marcus, you played a great game today. Your team came away with the victory. What's next for you?" Yeah, I believe that the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty possess inside. Give them a sense of pride. You know where I was going. Anyway, I told...
they need to make a second one of those We Are the World songs. With all the top celebrities. That'd be interesting.
They can't do it with her. Yeah, they really can't do it with her. Maybe a couple others, too. Maybe like... We are kind of the world. We're sort of the children. We might be a few short, but that's okay, because we got these others.
Well, I mean, you couldn't really do it with all originals, besides the fact that a good chunk of them are dead. But
you say do it. Like what
some of them got like bad criminal records too, so that really wouldn't work anymore.
Would we bust R. Kelly out for it? Because he's an icon. He's an icon. You know, pee or no pee, he's an icon, right?
I mean, Jerry Lee Lewis just died, so I mean, I guess somebody has to take his place.
Yes, with the kinfolk and peeing being part of that.
And underage girls too.
I had no idea that this convo was going to go down this dark and wicked path, but I thank you for taking us. Thank you.
You never know which Marcus you're going to get. You never know.
Not only you're taking us, you're like you keep strewing this popcorn behind you. Says, don't get lost. Don't get lost. Shh. Come on. Here we go.
I never even know where it's going to go. That's why, like, it was funny. This one guy used to say all the time that my shows were scripted. I was like, how could it? You'd have to be the most, I don't know, confused, all over the place person in the world to come up. Because like one moment we, like on our show, as you know, we literally could be talking about something that's extremely important. It could be some kind of, major riots or something that are going on in South America. And then the next subject, we're talking about pastors in Nigeria getting lap dances. So, I mean, we go all over the place on our show.
Yeah. I mean, and this show, doesn't even have a starting point on this show. It's like, it's kind of like dad's driving on a highway, and then all of a sudden the car squeals to a halt, and then the door opens, and then he flings us kids out, and then the door closes, and he drives off. That's kind of like where this show goes. That's where it starts, is him abandoning us on the side of the road, and they having a somewhat civil conversation after that. Now, not to that extreme, but pretty close. That's where the mind goes at the beginning of every show. It's like, if Dad abandoned us, how would this conversation go with someone else right after it happened? So, but I don't like to divulge too many secrets on this show. So I forgot to shout out everybody. Do you mind if I shout out the folks that showed up?
No, I do it on my show. That's one thing which I like about, I like that I'm able to have an interactive show and get involved with the audience. And so shout out to anybody out there who's, waving to me or saying hello. So do your thing, sir.
I think that's important. I mean, we can get into it more here in a second about like getting involved with the chat and whatnot. But let's see who's here first. We got gamers here. Good to see you, Kim and Les Bones, one of our producers here. Good to see you, brother. And Ed Heller from Chicago, he's here. Who else is here? Shake and Bacon, one of our Canadian brothers, is here. Good to see you. Oh, Miss Jimmy's in here too. Hi, Jimmy. Good to see you. We like Jimmy.
Oh, that's right. Jimmy's supposed to be on my show this Saturday, so don't forget.
That's right. She's doing double duty, so she's gonna. She said, look, honky crackers, no show for you. I gotta go be where the cool kids hang out. And I said,
don't worry, we won't keep her out too late.
You know what I said? I said, well, you must be going to be on Marcus's show, because I can't think of any cooler show than that. And she said, yeah, that's where I'm going. So, and
it's funny that I'm a cool kid.
See, that was supposed to be our promo for her appearance on your show, but it went horribly awry.
Nothing ever goes as planned with me. Nothing.
Oops. Oh dear. No, I like randomness to a certain extent, unless you're like trying to get to somebody's house and you're stoned out of your gourd. Then the randomness, not so much. You kind of want a little bit of like, continuity as to like how to get there. Anyway, so here we are, Marcus. It's 2023. We made it through 2022. Did any of your predictions for 2022 come true throughout the year? And if so, what's
yes.
the most notable ones?
Most notable, that a lot of the pandemic stuff was going to die down right before the primaries. That's one that I predicted far, far out, and I just kept saying over and over. Um, I did, I guess, I overestimated the red wave. I figured that it was going to be bigger, and because I went back to my shows last year, right around the end of the year last year, and tried to see, okay, so how much stuff did I get right going into 2022, and what was I talking about then, and a lot of the things that I was talking about, it's almost like a slow moving car accident to some of the things. I was talking about the Israel situation was going to heat up more, which it's starting to do that now. I was talking about more of a kind of a Cold War, a lukewarm war going on between China and the United States. Uh, I was talking about, of course, the Russia Ukraine stuff, that it was going to continue on and slowly drag out. And I'm still waiting for that, ignition kind of moment that happens normally in most of these kind of things where something eventually happens and then the full on war goes. I'm one of those people who has definitely been talking about that. We're heading towards World War III for a while. And I mean, I still hold to that.
Yeah, that's always a money maker on the scratch offs right there is World War III.
Mm-hmm.
So if it doesn't happen now, it's definitely going to be close. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I really predicted much for last year. I thought it was going to be more of the the jibby jab shenanigans and stuff like that, and there was to a certain extent, I guess, but nothing like Nostradamus, profoundly fulfilling type stuff. But here we are going into 23, and there's already some craziness going on with I don't know, with the football player for the
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo Bills.
DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah, and I looked
And
that
then
up too. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, and not to mention, a lot of people forget that there was a Jaguars offensive lineman who earlier in the year just randomly dropped at his home, and he actually didn't make it.
Yeah.
And then I also noticed, I don't know, for those football fans out there, if you remember Marion Barber, the third, he was a Cowboys running back, um, randomly in his home doing workouts he normally would do. He supposedly died of heat stroke,
Right.
and the temperature wasn't really hot. So it's a little, I don't know. I have my theories. I'll just say that.
Well, yeah, and I was doing I was doing my own research. You know those kind of people. You know how they are.
Mm-hmm.
I was.
You're not trusting the science. That's what it is.
I just don't. You know what? The science said that we were friends at one point. And then one day I get home. I walk in and there's science in bed with my wife. And I said, "Science, I trusted you." And he looked at me and he said, "Never trust the science." And then he stuck it in her in the
Oh Lord.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. Wrong one. Oops.
I almost get like a visual image of like science looking like Samuel L. Jackson in Long Kiss Goodnight with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Like she's with me now.
Oh. Oh.
Maybe the Pulp Fiction look.
Bring out the gimp. It's time to bring him out. We had a totally serious conversation going there, and I totally U-turned it. I'm sorry. Uh, but anyway, what were we talking about? I can't even remember.
We were talking about
I
doing
don't
the
know.
research on the science as far as the Damar Hamlin situation.
Oh right, yeah, yeah. So okay. That was the
See,
Hollywood
you gotta
Sports
always
News.
bring it back full circle. See?
Well, yeah, because you're not stoned as a goat like I am. That's why you. That's
Oh
one of the
no, I
good
got
reasons
that
you're here.
full high octane coffee as usual.
Oh, sweet. That's what I needed. But so back in the early '70s, there was, I think it was for the Detroit Lions. I can't remember the gentleman's name off the top of my head, but he had a heart attack on the field, and he died. This was like in '72, I think, and he died of blood clots. That's his. It wasn't the hit that did him in. It was he had, I guess, at 72 they still hadn't really done medicine that well, uh as far as like being able to diagnose a lot of that kind of stuff early on. But yeah, the dude had like blood
Well,
clots and
if it's the
th-
one I'm thinking of, that was just like poor job on the medical staff all the way around because he
right.
had a heart attack like 3 days before and was in the hospital and they
Yeah, I
cleared
think
him to
that
play.
was the same one. Yeah,
Hmm.
he had like a couple three he was like having he was having heart attacks all over the place. um it was like it was a tour de heart attack. uh
Yeah, he was like Nick Cannon having babies.
But the tour ended in Detroit, I believe. I think that was the game. That was in Detroit, I think. R.I.P. But yeah. So, but the thing that got me about that story was the blood clots. And well, what else
Mhm.
those are associated with. 2 plus 2. So anyway, so I thought you'd find that somewhat interesting. I'm sure. But yeah, you said you.
Mhm.
Pretty sure you read the same things I did. So.
Yeah, we
Um,
me and Chris we talked about it a little bit, and I'm trying to remember what was it, commotio cordis. I'm probably messing that up, but I think that's what they said that that's what the issue was, and it's something that's extremely well. I'm not gonna say extremely rare. It does happen. I think something like 1,500 times a year throughout random sports, but in majority of these cases, in the overwhelming amount of these cases, it's normally having to do with hockey, baseball, where you have something traveling very, very fast that's smaller that hits at a certain area,
right.
or some of the times it's martial arts. Which I was somebody was correcting me in the chat said sometimes martial arts where you can have the impact of your blow being on the fist, elbow, where it's concentrating all that force to a small area and hitting at that exact wrong spot. And
Right.
I don't know, I played football. A lot of us played football, and those shoulder pads have protection in the chest. So it was just kind of and not only that, it's the shoulder pads have protection in the chest, and you're being hit with somebody's shoulder pad, which is also protection. And so,
Hmm.
since the circumference of it would hit not being a direct small point or like maybe like an elbow, it's more rounded. It should displace the impact. And so, the explanation just sounded really weird for me.
No, it makes. I mean, and in those instances, yeah, it does make sense, like a baseball or a puck, because yeah, when you're having a
Or
lot,
golf ball.
or a golf ball, any sort of small trajectory that's only taking up a small piece of real estate when it hits you, but you're still getting that force behind it, and the mass and the
Mhm.
force and all that goes with it. So that I could see that some that doing that to somebody's heart. Obviously I'm no doctor or anything like that, but I've seen enough football over the last 40 years to see. I've seen some pretty wicked hits that guys have laid on dudes, and none of them resulted in a heart attack, like you said, because first off, they're both wearing pads. Both of the players are wearing pads, so that kind of displaces some of the impact as part of it. So when it hits, then it just displaces. That's part of the reasons why you have pads, is not only to take a full on hit, but to take like a side hit or something like that.
Yeah.
So this kid getting up, 24 years old too, and not like it was in the 70s, like that article was talking about, where the you have a medical staff on these football teams that are just like light years ahead of what they had back then. They can tell if you got like a heart murmur. They could tell if you've got any sort of anomalies with anything related to what you do on the field, right? Your heart, your your breathing, all that kind of stuff. So for them to miss this, as like maybe like I don't know if any of them said anything about this, like runs in the family or whatever. I haven't heard any of that. I haven't not heard any of that. That kind of thing. So I mean, we can speculate.
Nobody said anything like that. In fact, the family members, they were all as shocked for this to happen, as he was and everyone else. Another thing I wanted to bring up, that for those who are not familiar with like shoulder pads, the top layer is like a hard plastic, but up under it's a layer, as far as for the chest pads, about that thick of basically like a form of like nylon. I think it's like I think it's nylon or some kind of mixed material. And then there's actual cushion inside of that. And so that's what's on most of those shoulder pads. And even some people go a little bit further and they have the protection shirts up under, which have padding in the shirt. And so it just, keeping that in mind, it doesn't add up to me.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I mean, just like certain skyscrapers fall in their footprints after some fires catches in it. Never happened before. It brought it down in its footprint either. Funny how a lot of these things that defy the laws of physics are going on here, Marcus. Thoughts?
Well, oddly enough, we actually covered that. What was it? I'm not sure if we did that on Rockfin or not only, but it was toward the end of the show. We were covering, and I advise, I implore you all to go back and look at certain footage on a certain date that the 9th month and that day, I'm pretty sure you guys can figure that out. If you look at the impact and just slow it down, some things look a little peculiar about it. And I would just, throw out, I would just say 2 words. Project Bluebeam. Familiar with that, sir?
Indeed I am. I'm just trying to figure out what part would be would it be the actual planes, be the actual
well there's I mean, there's some of the uncut videos which you saw that where they're talking to people on the ground, where some of these were the people who were recording at the time, some of these didn't make it on the news stations, and they're like, I didn't see a plane, I didn't see this, I didn't see that. No, there was an explosion, but plenty of people say that they claim that they did not see a plane. Now I wasn't in New York. I was in Italy at a weapons station at the time, so I was hearing about it for the most part and having to be you're thrown into full alert, and so hey, go here, do this, do that. And so the thinking of, because the intel that we got was that this was a worldwide attack, and that they were going to hit these particular high value targets in the U.S. And then the next thing after that, they were going to go after certain bases. And the base which I was working at was one of the number one suppliers of weapons to the Mediterranean. So for people who don't understand what that means, the Middle East. So we were on high alert.
Yeah. So, when I was working at a TV station down south, and I kind of found it odd, like something like this, something that was supposed to be the new Pearl Harbor. They didn't even break in on ESPN, because that's what I was watching. I was watching ESPN at the house, because we were supposed to go to Saints game in New Orleans that weekend for I think for like I can't remember what day it was, but I was watching ESPN the whole time. I get to work, I see people just walking around, kind of, yes, Warren is stoned, Jimmy. God damn it, these fucking here, there.
Knows you too well.
Get these fucking Scooby-Doo mysteries out of the way. Anyway, so, and yes, I fucking forgot what I was talking about. Thanks, Jimmy, again.
See, that's why I'm here to remind you. You were talking about you were watching ESPN, and you come in to work, you see these people walking around.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, it's not like ESPN's not tied into the corporate structure there. I'm pretty sure they knew. They were they could have been like, oh shit, what do we do? We're sports, we're not news, but this is like, what are we supposed to do? And this is news. Yeah, like, but I guess they decided to wait till, I don't know, that was 2001, so I can't remember who owned ESPN at the time. I don't know if they got bought by the Mouse or not. I can't remember. These people just talking shit in the chat, Marcus. They say, what are you talking about? No fucking respect for people, man. These fuckers. This guy's not even American. This guy's fucking Canadian ass. This ain't the hey, let's fucking call Warren names and shit show. This is.
I thought Canadians were supposed to be super nice.
I know, when you bring it, I must be a real shit if I'm bringing out the hatred of Canadians.
You have to ask yourself that.
Oh no, it too. Where's my go-to? There it is. These people, swear to God, these fuckers.
But Ed is a Chicago guy, so I mean, Chicago guys can be a little rough around the edges.
Yeah, Ed's kind of a bitter pill to swallow. So, you might want to bring some extra drink when you're around old Ed. I love Ed to death. Don't get me wrong, Ed. You're.
Jeez.
Wait,
I have no clue what's going on tonight. I mean, I've heard probably like 5 different sirens since we've been live.
I have. I'm amazed we haven't heard any coming my way, because there's a hospital right at the end of the block, and that thing's always busy. So,
I just happen to live next to not very far from Compton and Watts. So.
Oh really? I used to go to the bank down there. I used to go to what was it? Just like, it began with a U, something like I don't know. There was a branch down there. It was like Union Bank of California. That's what it was. And the only branch that was, and the only branch that was open was in Compton. So I'd have to go down to Compton to go to the bank.
I would. I was like, well, I can't say my city. I'll say, as long as you guys don't come tracking me down and be like, hey, what's up? I'm in a city called Southgate.
Yeah, so don't go fucking with them, seriously, because Southgate will fuck you up too. So don't.
Yeah, as long as you're cool, we can go stop, go have some coffee or something if you're in the area. But don't come to
Exactly.
harass me. You'll find out in person. I'm not as docile.
That's right. He's like Hulk. It's like, don't make him angry. You wouldn't like him if he was angry. And me either. We're not nice people when we're angry. I mean, I'm
No.
right there. We don't like to be angry people. So keep us from
No.
being angry. You know, feed us gummy bears and gummy worms. Ooh. we
Well,
can eat
technically, I
some.
can't have gummy bears or gummy worms because they're not kosher. But some other kind of candy.
Wait a minute. What? Okay, is it because of the gelatin? Because of the hooves?
The gelatin is it's pork gelatin.
What if it was something else? What if it was like beef gelatin?
Well, I can have beef gelatin. That's all right, but typically only candy that's made in certain parts of Canada and I believe it's like Sweden and a couple other places. It's not very common. Majority of the time, if it has gelatin in it, it's typically pork.
I think that's discriminatory, and we need to get you some gummy bears and gummy worms that you can eat. You know, because look, I
Yeah,
mean, they're
I miss what is it, Haribo or whatever. I used to love those. Those are
oh
like my
yeah,
favorite. Well, even Starburst. Can't have Starburst either.
same thing. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wait,
really anal
Starburst?
about it. I like have to read packages on everything.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I was about to say that you'd have to be like pretty ultra kosher, right? You'd have to be like, because I mean, to get down to the nitty gritty of
Oh
of
yeah,
that.
I'm very I try my best to follow, try to keep the Torah as best as possible. The Mosaic laws.
Our helpful Canadian friend Shake and Bacon says they do make gummy bears without gelatin. I've had them before and they were decent. Okay.
I'll have to track some of those down and order some.
Right? Yeah, if you could get us a brand name there, Shaken, maybe we could get started on that, and you might be able to help a friend tonight. And that's what this show is all
Definitely.
about. You know, that I would say 99.9% of the show is about that, and the other 0.1% is at the very end when everybody's gone off and left the stream, and then I start stripping. So it's just for a little second. And
Got the flashing lights and everything going, music.
Got
I don't know.
lights
Yeah,
on the
Warren, let the people know, Warren. What is your stripper song?
Man, I don't know. There's so many to choose from. I would say to represent me as the person that I am, I'd have to say One Night in Bangkok. That's got to be my song, man. One night in Bangkok and the world's your oyster. Get tired.
See, I was
of
thinking
talking
something a little slower. I was thinking
Oh,
probably
yeah?
like Lady in Red or something.
Ooh. Lady in Red. What's your stripper song? You got a stripper song.
Figure you'd be like all burlesque with them. I
I
don't
got
know.
many. It depends on my personality. If I'm in a silly mood, I might put some working for the weekend on there. A little lover boy, get some of that, that cowbell in there. Ding, 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 ding. I love that fucking song, man. That should be our national anthem. It's working for the weekend. I would vote for that.
That we
In
are.
a heartbeat. We are. Anyway,
I'm
what's
so
yours?
excited. I just like last minute realized like, oh wait a minute, MLK is coming up, so that means 3-day weekend. Yes.
That is right. Let's see. Survey says, I believe, yes. So his actual birthday is on the 15th, which is a Sunday, and I believe the 16th is the day for the national holiday, the 16th. Yeah, so
Correct.
that is correct. So yeah.
I always remember it because my grandfather's birthday was January 16th. Even though I don't celebrate birthdays, but I remember him.
Yeah, birthdays suck. I'm not a big fan either. Mine's on the 15th, though. So, in case you're one of those present buying kind of peoples out there and you know who you are, you have this compulsion. You can't not buy somebody a birthday present for their birthday. So, let me help you with your affliction by enabling it some more. And don't be cheap. I know who some of you are. You can afford it.
I'm pretty sure you guys can send a Super Ray or a Snap. What is that called? Cash App to Mr. Warren over there.
Yeah, or a snickerdoodle or a popsicle, whatever they call them these days. Whether these damn kids, they're in my yard. Damn it, get out of my yard, you little bastards. So here we are. We were talking all kinds of like existential stuff. I tend to do that when I'm stoned. I tend to dig deep into the marsh. I kind of go in there and like talk about weird shit. And I appreciate your indulgence.
Hey, this is my kind of conversation. I mean, if I ever don't have this job anymore, trust me, or I have a situation where I don't have to worry about that kind of situation with, you know, the whole was it drug testing stuff anymore? You know, definitely
Right.
probably have some edibles ready.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, pretty much my retirement plan is sucking dick. Wait a minute,
What?
what? Wait.
Well, that's
Wrong
not
s-
kosher.
Wrong support group. Oops. I walked into the wrong room. Oh.
Speaking of support
yes.
groups, I have a funny story for you. Well, this isn't. Well, I don't know. Depends on your sense of humor. I had a friend of mine. He used to go to Sexaholics Anonymous to pick up women.
Oh, really?
Oh, this guy was ruthless. Ruthless. He used to what was it? He would like look for women who were in jail or prison or whatever who were getting out soon.
Damn.
Yeah, ruthless.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I've started writing them
terrible.
about a month or two before they get out.
To be like, hey, baby, you about to get out soon, right? Hey, you know what he is? He's the dude that meme. He's the guy in that meme behind that tree, and he's going behind the tree. He's that guy. He's going, oh, I know you're about to get out. Oh, yeah. Damn.
Yeah, oh, he's the guy who's like relentless. It's like if a woman throws it at him, he will not resist. Just ruthless.
Shakin's a ruthless but smart. Shakin's taking notes, man.
I can't tell any more about my bad friends.
Listen, ruthless. Ruthless Shakin. Listen, don't be taking those. These aren't tips. We ain't telling you how to like score chicks, dude.
Yes, these are proverbs you should stay away from. Don't do these
exactly.
things.
These are fucking cautionary tales, dude. These aren't recipes. Jesus, man. That's terrible. Hopefully he sees the error in that logic and cools out a little bit. So
not.
I can see. You know, he's not wrong in the logic because, well, you know, you do have kind of like what they call it, a captive audience, right? You know, you can email them, right? You can email people in jail now, right? Can't you do that?
Yeah.
You can have email pen pals, like those kind of things.
Some of them have social media sites too. I mean, some of them are like on Twitter.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the thing, man. And then and then they just waiting to pounce, right? Just like
Mm-hmm.
licking their chops, like Bugs Bunny cartoons. Whenever he'd be starving, and then he'd look at Daffy Duck, and Daffy Duck would be a duck, and then he'd be that duck on that plate, with the little trimmings and shit around him, and then he'd be the duck again, and it's like, nah, bitch, I'm about to eat another bird. I do not give a shit. I'm hungry.
And
Anyway,
he's the type of guy where it's like, you know what? A ship is out of town. It's a good night for me to go out to the bars.
I know, right?
For,
So,
for those who don't get that reference, normally, like if you're in a Navy town, one thing you're going to see is after a ship goes out, you're going to see a major influx of women in the club who are normally wearing either clothes that are a little too tight, a little too loose, and you can see that little tan line there. You're going to see a lot of that. And so that would be his target audience.
we only see Jesus around here. Marcus, is it? Oh, let's see. I wanted to get it now because I know sinners' names aren't in the Lamb's Book of Life. So I know I won't read it there after all this blasphemy I just heard. Do you like how I just went way the fuck around all the way? I did like a family circus. I just went and then finally got to the point. So, wait, what? So, anyway,
Yeah, the chat is probably like, we had no idea where this conversation was going to go. But what
Still
Marcus
don't.
is having me on, hey, things are unpredictable. So that's why you need to be watching.
That's right, and I appreciate you coming on and being a part of this nonsense. Although
No, I
I do,
appreciate you having me here.
you're a trusted friend, and these days those can come at a premium. It seems so. I do appreciate those friends like that, and I appreciate having these kind of conversations with you. Because I know we could go. We have gone like 3-4 hours at least. That I think that's probably that's just a warm up for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could do this show, hop off, and do 2 more shows. I can talk a lot.
It's there's so much good material to talk about. Way too much historical references to get into. And what really happened in the past and that sort of thing, So it's really nice to be able for you to duck in and give us a little dash of a little some of Marcus, some of your fun stuff that you're all about. So, I mean, because you talk about some heavy stuff a lot of times. And,
Well, yeah, that's why I mix it up a little bit, throw a little bit of levity and jokes in because, I mean, for those who aren't familiar with me and first time seeing me on, here on Warren's show, we do talk about a lot. I mean, we talk about, talk about slavery, we talk about genocides, we talk about famines, we talk about plagues, we talk about governments being overthrown. We literally go into every topic that you can think of. I remember once me and Chris, which you guys can't see over here. Oh, sorry, other way. There's Chris right there. We've talked about, of course, the George Floyd thing. We've talked about, what was it? Because a lot of people forget about. It was this one gentleman where he was in the hallway where he got shot down by the police, and we'll talk about some of those issues. Not just when the police do something to a black or brown person. We'll do anytime we see something that we feel is egregious. And not only that, we will critique our own community. So, I don't make any excuses for black on black crime or brown on brown crime. I mean, when we go into it really and think about it, crime normally happens in the proximity of people you live around. And since the United States is still so segregated in so many ways, it tends to be white on white crime, black on black crime, brown on brown crime, or whatever, or Asian on Asian crime, and so it's just a matter of looking into the root causes to why we are having all of these things. And so, yeah, so when I get to talk to my buddy Warren, which Warren has a wealth of knowledge on all these different topics too, it's just not often where people know how to switch some of that off and have a little bit of fun with things. I do enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm like I'm like the sideshow, not the sideshow, but like the rest area. You pull over, right? You just bought all these candies and stuff. You want to dig in, but you don't want to eat them while you're on the road. So you eat them right there, and then you get in the car, and then you go back on your merry way. Just trying to bring a little, yeah, like you said, a little levity to a lot of these topics are pretty pretty heavy.
Yeah. I forgot, like a perfect example, when I was on Savvy's show last, we talked about the Philadelphia experiment. How many people in the chat are familiar with the Philadelphia experiment? That's where they were literally testing pharmaceuticals on predominantly black inmates. And I mean, the gambit of them. And it was talking about how this doctor, his book was called Acres of Skin, that he documented how much he experimented on all these different people. So, I mean, we go into history is something which is kind of more one of my specialties. And so it's an area I've always, been in love with since I was, a kid. So that's one thing I do focus on a lot. And it's kind of funny when I hear some people talk electoral politics, because I'll have people engage with me when I say that I'm kind of non-political or apolitical at this point. They're like, oh, because you don't get it or you don't understand. I'm like, I come from a political family. I've been involved in politics for quite a while. I literally was an activist and pushed a lot of different causes. And I remember being a kid and making signs for Michael Dukakis. Some of you guys probably don't even know who that is. But, I mean, pretty much my family not only voted at the presidentials, but the primaries and the House races and the state legislature. And I grew up reading bills and all this different stuff. So when I come to the conclusions that I come to at this point now, it doesn't come from somebody who doesn't have a knowledge of what's going on. It comes from somebody who's just looked at so much that it's kind of like one of those situations, you see something and you can't unsee it. I've seen certain things within our political system that I can't unsee, and I can't just go back to, well, maybe if we just run a green or a DSA or a this or a that, and no. I have no faith in the system.
Yeah, I don't either. And I know what you mean by once you see it, you can't unsee it, and you're right. And I think that's why you're starting to see a lot more anxiety and depression going on in this country too, because a lot more people are starting to turn off the bubble and taking a chance, and they're getting out there and they're seeing some very ugly things that they were told were not happening as a result of certain things, and the more that's the thing. Unfortunately, we need more of that reality. We need more people to be aware of this kind of stuff, because that's the only way.
But that's hard. Things. It's hard, Warren. That's the problem. It's hard for people to realize that, what? There's not much that I can do to turn these events around. I mean, could you try to alert people and let them know what's going on? That's what I feel we try to do. But can we necessarily change it? No, not necessarily. And I'll have certain people, they'll say, well, what are you, a nihilist? No, I'm not a nihilist. I do have stuff that I believe in and stuff that I believe will happen. But I don't put my beliefs in changing or taking over or controlling the system because I know the detail and the pre-planning that the people have done in this system to put it the way it is. And if you think that you and your merry band of friends are all going to get together and stop $1 trillion, you know, multi-trillion dollar, mammoth that has been engineered and controlled on such high levels. And that's the thing, most people don't even realize how high up that this goes, the control. They don't understand the levels that deal with this. I was listening to somebody the other day talking about, believing that Biden has the control and if we go to World War III or not. It's like this is way over Biden's head. I mean, way over his head. All you have to do is literally look at the donors and look at the combined amount of wealth in these donors. And then when you start tying back the parent company to the parent company to the parent company of these donors, then you start seeing that, that pyramid that people talk about. Because everything is built on all these little pyramid schemes that you see, our whole entire system, everything is built on that. Do people really think that like Italy and France and all these NATO members really have a say so in what's going on? And that they're not getting bullied by the United States for the most part?
Yeah, to a certain extent they still do, because that's what they were taught. It's once you're able to get with those people that you trust, that are consistent in their message, that are consistent in delivering this information. Finally, after a while, you can see where the people will decide to get outside of that bubble, and that's when they know, and that's when they find out what's really going on, and that's when the depression takes hold. And that's when they hate you for showing them what happened to them in real life.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But it's medicine. You got to take the medicine, unfortunately.
Well, how can you deal with any situation unless you face the truth of it? I mean, if you're having problems, let's say you're married and you're having problems in your marriage, and the problem is that you work too much, and so you guys are growing apart because you work too much. If you don't face the reality that you work too much, then you can't figure out how to circumvent. Okay, well maybe I can stop working as much, and then we can spend more time together, and things will get straight. But it's just the situation. If you don't understand the level of corruption that's going on in this, for those who don't remember, was it? I'm probably going to screw up her name, and I apologize. But Kashwarma Shawant, whatever. Um, they dumped $1 million into her city council race. That should tell you that they're micro focused all the way down. It's not just on the presidential level or the congressional level or the governors or mayors. It is literally governed all the way down to your city councils, that they pay that much of attention, depending on your city. Now, you might be in some small town in Mississippi or West Virginia, and they might not care as much. But if you're in any kind of major city, even your city council races are controlled all the way top down, all the way tracing back up to the Pelosi's or now Hakeem Jeffries, or on the other side, Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah.
And they're controlled by corporations above them, and those corporations are answering to shareholders. And those are the people, those shareholders, which you don't know their names, those are the ones who are making the big decisions, deciding on the direction things go. And until you guys start understanding who these people are, and I know people say, oh, well, Klaus Schwab, WEF. He is an errand boy to these people. Bill Gates is an errand boy to these people. You need to find out who these people are that are above them. The people who are telling Bill Gates what to do. the people who are telling Klaus Schwab what to do. Those are the people who really control things and make things happen.
Yep. And as always, we like to end these shows on a high note. So we
Sorry, I
bring
didn't mean
in,
to get a little heavy for people.
we bring in the Reverend Marcus Cage, and he lays down the sermon. No, like I said, we need it. We need it. So not all this stuff can be all fun and dandy. Sometimes you gotta say, hey, look, this is what these people are. They got bosses, and they got bosses, and they got bosses. And I always tell people, you gotta follow the money. You gotta follow the money.
That's what I did. That's literally what I did. I went through.
That's all you do.
I went through all 100 senators, and what is it, the 435, Congress or House members, and literally looked at who each person is getting funded by. I mean, what is it? Open Secrets. You can go on there yourselves and look that up right now. Also, look at who some of these corporations are owned by. It's not that hard to even find some. Here, I'll give you a perfect example. Anybody who's a smoker out there, for you smoke cigarettes, Cool, Newports, Camel, whatever it is, Virginia Slims, most of that is all owned by one family. That one family started like Reynolds Wrap and a lot of the compact aluminums and that are made through most things across the country. That's all in the umbrella of one family of people. Also, a lot of the major medical marijuana, which is distributed across this country, all goes back to the Reynolds family, one family. When you start realizing like major whole industries are controlled by literally handfuls of people, a whole family of people. And over here's another family who has a massive conglomerate, which is hidden behind the secrets. When you find out like many of our like test books go back to Rockefeller funding, I mean, you start realizing that, oh, well, wait a minute, I can actually literally follow financial ties. I mean, keep in mind, what was his name? James Pierpont Morgan, J.P. Morgan Chase. That one man literally by himself bailed this country out of debt. One man did that, and not very long ago. We're talking about less than 100 years ago. That one man had enough money to bail the whole United States out by himself.
Yeah, and there should be no reason there should be no way anybody should be able to be in that position to bail out the United States like that. That should have been the tipping point right there, but of course it wasn't.
Well, here's something. This one boggles my mind. The Saudi Arabia is basically under the thumb of Western powers, correct?
That's right.
Well, they'll tell you Saudi Arabia and UAE literally have trillionaires. And yet we're supposed to believe that there's nobody in Western powers, where the Western powers have more power than them, that nobody in the Western powers are trillionaires, when we know for a fact that our banks are privately owned by somebody. I mean, our banks and our Federal Reserve System, and most of these reserve systems or national banks or whatever, Bank of London, stuff like that, they're owned by literal individuals, not by countries. And we're to believe that the most powerful nations, there's no other trillionaires, but only these Arab people over here. Come on,
right.
people.
Yeah, there's always somebody behind the scenes, and they're behind the scenes for a reason, because they don't want to be found out. They want to control shit from behind the scenes. So, it could be anybody, but not really. It could be anybody with $1 trillion.
All we got to do is look at who was powerful and had a lot of wealth, and all of a sudden that they're just not on the radar and they're not talked about. Just look back to these people. It's not hard to find them. We
It
also got to
is
keep in mind
hard. It's hard.
our cable, not cable, but our media outlets. There used to be a time when there were literally thousands of different media outlets. I'm talking about from digital to
Oh
print.
yeah,
It's down to how many now?
probably a
I
handful.
mean,
I mean,
somebody's
it was
controlling narratives.
yeah. I mean, print got decimated for real, and they'll tell you, well, it was only a matter of time before digital would take over. Yeah,
No,
yeah, 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 but still, no. Uh,
that's not what it is. I mean, I could tell you how a lot of them went down. Some billionaire would buy it after he buy these other companies which weren't profitable, and then he would take the debt from those and transfer those into the newspapers and let them fail. That's how many of them collapsed.
Jesus. Yeah, and
Yeah,
there were that
acquisitions and
many.
mergers.
Yep. Yeah, and there were that many of them too. That's where like
Hmm.
one of the big ones that went down too was the Village Voice, uh, big time lefty magazine, and it got taken out too. So, but I don't know. Maybe
Or
it
if they
was.
can't take them down, somebody will just take over the editorial roles. The shareholders will push them out and put some money in that's going to push the message they want.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of time. Either way, you're gonna you're gonna like really gouge these places out of these people. I mean, that's the goal. Is you're trying to get them to stop, doing their job as journalists. So but anyway,
That's what censorship's about.
yeah, that's exactly what it's about. And there's a plethora of it, and people need to start understanding that what they're seeing is censorship. That people are getting censored. Instead of stop
Hmm.
believing the cult. But we could talk about this all night. But I should let you go. I got my Matlock stories are on, and I have to. I haven't
I got
taken my.
some. Plus, I got all kinds of editing that I didn't know I should be doing. I got like 3 or 4 projects in the can, which I'm always. But it takes
Yeah,
me it takes me so long to edit them because work and then get home and then you know you try to spend some time relaxing, decompressing, and then it like say hour long video that I might do with me doing all my commentary adding, and I don't know if people know how long some of this editing takes. It does take a while sometimes. Yeah,
it
I might
does.
literally be editing a 1 hour video and have to put like 5, 6 man hours actually into it with researching and getting the right clips and all kind of stuff.
Yeah, the researching now is probably the biggest stumbling block. Um, it's before it was the actual editing process, because that was in the linear days when you had like two different tape decks that you would do A/B rolls, and then you'd have your
Hmm.
third your recording deck and stuff. And now it's like so much easier, but still you still have a lot of stuff, especially if you're doing a lot of like cuts and stuff like that. You have to have a lot of material to do those cuts, so, and getting that
Hmm.
material takes time too. So um, your partner in crime is in the chat. He says, sorry late, worked a long day. And then Dingo said, Uncle Warren's got to go beat off to Murder She Wrote. Jessica is sexy. And he wrote
Oh,
beat. He wrote B
you got a thing for
E E
Angela
T.
Lansbury?
At first
I
I
didn't know
did.
you had
I
a
was
thing for
like,
Angela.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's a little weird too. But I was like, beat off, like where I gonna use beets? Like, were they gonna use the actual like fruit and or vegetable? I don't know if we figured that out, if it's a fruit or vegetable. But I don't know how that would play into my masturbatorial habits, sir or madam. Anyway, let's just say no fruit was harmed in the making of that baby batter.
Speaking of
So,
stuff like that, did you hear about the woman who had the fans only and she was talking about bestiality in there, talking about trans canine or something?
oh
And
yeah, the trans canine lady. Yes.
yeah, she everybody thought that she was just like plugging that or whatever, saying that to just try to get eyes on her channel and get people to subscribe. Well, turns out she actually did a real video, and I guess she got fired from her job and stuff like that.
What? She was for real about that?
She was for real about that.
Wow. Okay. All right. We should talk about this real quick before anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I don't know anything about like trans anything, so anybody gets on me about trans stuff, I'm like, I know trans nothing. So,
Well,
you know,
I focus more on the transhuman aspect and some of that stuff that's going on, because that's something that for 2023, that's something that you're going to have to look at a lot, because that's what's being pushed more and more and more.
yeah,
So
I'm not a fan of that either. The putting stuff in your body to make shit work. I mean, if that's gonna have to be something that's required, you know, basically how like smartphones have now basically become required. You more or less have to have a cell phone in order to get a job, to do a lot of other things too. So, is that what's happening? Is the technology going to transform to where we're going to have to stick one of these things in our bodies to get shit to work?
well, I believe that's the goal. They're going to start off at first, um, making it be something that people might want or desire, and a temptation. And then, because, like, for instance, like right now they're starting off with, if you have problem with, let's say you're quadriplegic, they have the possibility to reconnect all your nerve endings and be able to, be able to get you up to actually physically walk and move again. Say you had an amputation, that they might be able to give you a prosthetic where they could send the signal directly from your brain to that prosthetic to use. If you are blind, they're working on a way to help bring back your sight through some of these different devices. But at the same time, if they're able to see what you see and process your brain waves and think and process what you're thinking, and literally be able to use that for you to control your body, how hard is it for them to get control of your body and use you for whatever they want? Now, some people believe that this could be for literally like Attack of the Clones type, actual like soldiers. Maybe even with some of that, cryo cloning type stuff. There's a lot of different implications and stuff like that, which I'm hearing about, where a lot of different people from a lot of different aspects are trying to do stuff with this. But another thing that they're pushing with it is that it might go to a form of a digital currency, where there's no more of a fiat currency, where you're going to need to have this implanted, where you'll have your banking records, where you'll have your medical records, where your keys, everything will be on it. So all you do is walk up, and your hand, the chip that's in your hand or your brain, you'll be able to tell the door unlock, click on the lights, things like that. And so I think that's where the temptation is going to come. Then eventually, once they get enough people, as always, like you see in a lot of these dystopian movies, there's always that outcast of people who don't want to go along with the system, and the system is trying to crush them. Well, we are kind of those people as far as the media aspect right now. Then eventually it'll get to, I believe, a physical aspect where, some of us are going to be the outsiders of the society and persecuted because we won't go along. And I feel like what happened with the, let's say, outbreak, the minimal outbreak, well, that's a test run. See how many people and what kind of measures we're going to have to do to get the rest of the people on board. How do we bribe them? How do we convince them? All kind of different ways. And then they'll be able to look at, okay, well, here's this marginalized group left here. What do we do with these people? More than likely, we either force them to, in which some people, once that force is torqued on them, they'll fold. And then the rest of the people, lock up, get rid of, whatever, delete them, and so
No.
I hate to be that, dystopian for people, but that's, some of the implications of some of these types of things. And keep in mind, we're dealing with people who have talked about eugenics, who have talked about population control.
Yeah, and it
So don't
practiced
think
it
a
too.
world, yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say, so don't think a World War III where tons of people, literally millions or possibly billions of people could die is something that is out of the realm of possibility for these people who are in control.
no, and if you given enough avenues to do that, they'll take those
Mm-hmm.
avenues and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they know they could gain more money, more power out of it, more wealth, more
Yep.
power, and just regular ass people. They're kind of naive to the fact they're like, oh no, they're people wouldn't go to that extent. It's like, yes, they will. They go to those extents, and they have done so in the past, and they will continue to do so because that's human nature.
Mm-hmm.
That's what human nature is all about. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
we need to get out of here
All
because
right.
I got. But I want to let everybody know what's going on with you next. What's up with the political matrix? I know you said you got a little honey bunny that's going to be on there Saturday night. Some chick that we met at the we met.
Yes.
She was working at Piggly Wiggly. Yeah, she knows what that means. So. Anyway, I'm
Hey,
sorry.
I grew up going to Piggly Wiggly's.
I got Piggly Wiggly too. Don't worry, there's a reference. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's you got going on?
But yes, we will be having Jimmy, as you guys all know, Jimmy here, who often is a contributor here on Extra Bulla. She will be joining us. So very excited to be able to welcome her on the show. I am still, of course, coming together with all the things that I plan to talk about. I pick various different stories throughout the week that I think are going to be important to focus on. I believe that I will be talking a little bit about robotics and automation. That's one topic that's in the back of my mind. So I'm just teasing that out there. And, as I get with Chris, we normally come together and, chit chat. I'll probably call him up sometime tomorrow and figure out the rest of it. That way we can give Jimmy a heads up so she doesn't feel so blindsided. She's going to feel blindsided anyway because we're all over the place. But that's what we have going on. I am working on a interview for Sunday. So, my conversations that I normally have on the other channel, Been Thinking with Young Morpheus, which I might be just changing it to Thinking with Young Morpheus. It's a little easier for people. It rolls off the tongue easier. But I'm going to get back to having more conversations on there. And something that I've been thinking about doing is daily on that channel, I'm probably just going to do like little 10-minute videos of whatever story I see for the day and just kind of, rant for a little bit. That way I can just kind of give you guys some of my thoughts and things that I'm seeing on a daily basis and, put some much needed content on that channel over there. Maybe some of it for my TikTok, which TikTok has frustrated me so much. I'll say that. Trying to figure all these things out, but that's what I got going on. Oh yeah, and Hebrew apologetics. I got like 4 videos backlog. I got a lot of stuff over there for Hebrew apologetics. So me and Jose, we will be having. We got some stuff planned. I'll just say that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, just be careful, cause Jimmy likes to be the boss. Now she gets all sweet and nice on the magic picture box, but behind the scenes, she's like threatening me with violence and shit. Like, and I'd be like, bitch, you 3,000 miles away, and she goes, I know, but I will come for you, and I will whoop your ass if you do not do A, B, and C. And Lord knows, I'm doing A, B, and C, because I am not testing her. I will fail.
You don't want to wake up with that knock on the door.
Hi. Oh my, all these nails in my head from this bat. Oh, you must be Negan. Oh, that's the reference.
She got the Negan bat.
Oh, this barbed wire. It's that. Yeah, don't forget that piece of brain matter. You know, that kind of thing. And she said, lies. I thought she was out of the room. I didn't think she was listening.
Oh,
No,
see, you never know. She hears all.
she's the sweetest, nicest person on the planet. She'd never hurt a soul. At all.
Yeah, you're gonna be sitting up there. You're gonna see her at the door, like, oh God, help, get me out of here. It's gonna be like that old song, "Who Can It Be Now?"
Who can it be now? Who can it be now? Yeah, man. That's a men at work out there. Nah, if Jimmy ever came up to my front door, I'd be like this. And then I'd blow up.
Then blow up. Just blow up from excitement.
I done blowed up. Okay. Well, that's gonna be. Wait a minute. What time's the show Saturday night? What time is that gonna be on?
The show Saturday night will be. Gotta make sure with Chris. I'm gonna try to shoot for 6 o'clock. Either 6 or 6:30 Pacific. So 9 or 9:30 Eastern, and I guess you guys can figure out those time zones in between Mountain and Central. So
yeah, we ain't doing no math for you. Central and Mountain time zone. If you're not in the TV guide, then nobody gives a shit. All right. I'm sorry. Please continue. They're not. I don't think they are in the TV guide. They might be.
No, it gives you well, actually, depending.
It depends.
I remember when I was in Florida, it would say, like, for instance, it would say what was it? Not what 7? I'm getting them mixed up. 8, 7 Central or something like that.
Yeah, several. What they would say 7.
7 o'clock is prime time in the Midwest, and 8 is prime time on the East Coast.
Yeah, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central and Mountain time. Jimmy said, I'm so excited to finally be on Political Matrix. So.
Well, we are.
She can't wait. Yeah, just more people for her to conquer and dominate. You fucking colonizer. Leave them alone. They're my friends, you ass. Fucking white people. I mean. Okay. Anyway, so on that note, Marcus, thank you so much for enduring this this Herculean effort that we call a show. It was for me, it was a joy, and for you, well, it's an hour and 26 minutes that you can put on a time card somewhere and hopefully get paid for it. So I don't know how that works in this day and age, but by God, you should be paid for having to endure this. No, but it was really
not at all. I tell people, if I could, this is what I would prefer to do for a living, and I don't need to get rich. Right. Heard something crazy like somebody makes $40,000 a month. Like, no, I don't even need that. I just if I could make just what gotta remember, I'm in California, so if I could take $40,000 a year to do this, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I do it for $2.50 and a bucket of chicken, but
I already do it for free. So, but yeah, if I did this for a living, God, you guys would get tired of me. They'd be like, dude, go have a life. Get offline.
You know, that is a goal of mine, though, to be. I want to be like one of those, what are those people that, these rich people that gives away their money, they call philanthropists, right? Mm-hmm. So if I ever like hit like the big money, I would do that. I would be like, I would be the guy that would be kind of paying for all the independent shows behind the scenes. You know,
sure you want to be a philanthropist and not a philanderer?
Wait a minute, what did I say? Which one's the cheater?
No, I'm messing with you.
Which one's the which one's the cheater? I don't want to be the cheater guy. Who's the cheater guy? Come on, Marcus. Philanderer.
Mm-hmm.
What did I say? Philanderer?
No, you said it right. I'm the one messing you up.
Fucking with stoners. You are the devil. You did. I thought you were the sweet.
Devil.
I thought you were the sweet one. You were the one. You were the.
No.
You were the one we were gonna inherit the business to, but no, it turns out you're just as worthless as your brothers. You know what you are. You got it right. Fucking trolls up in here. Anyway, I don't want no bad blood. We'll leave this on a positive note. That's I guess so. I guess we'll attempt to anyway.
Oh yeah, and everybody out there, if you did not like this, please go back and like it. It doesn't cost you any money to click the like button. And
exactly.
Subscribe. What are you doing?
Hang on a second. Let me see where that old crusty dude is. Oh, shut up. Nobody wants to hear. Here we go. We want this. There we go. Beat him. Beat him to death. Oh, so much violence. Delicious, delicious violence. Yes. Well, anyway.
I would like to see him have a round 2 with those stairs. I wonder who'll win.
You'd know me fucked up if they did that. They put like they put like one escalator steps up there, so it just started moving, and he's like, I can't win with this goddamn thing. You know,
yeah, I was just like Biden's horrors. I would like walk him outside of the White House and just put the stairs, moving stairs, and a bicycle there. You're
like
two
that.
long lost foes.
It's like Indiana Jones, you know, where he drops down into the pit and he sees the snakes, only it's Biden. He drops down into the pit and he sees escalators and bicycles. He's like, ah! And he shits himself.
I wonder, he probably does that during his speeches.
Shits himself?
Yeah.
Why you keep trying to draw it back in? You know I'm gonna be talking about somebody shitting themselves. Come on, man. Why you? Come on, these people got lives. They got places to go.
Biden's up there like, hey guys, get me off the stage. I'm prairie dogging.
I what was it? Somebody said I got a chocolate turtle writing love letters on my underwear. That was one of my favorites.
Writing love letters. Wow.
The chocolate turtle. Or there's a chocolate parrot, his beak sticking out, you know, that kind of stuff. Okay. All right, gotta
and
go.
think, I'm the serious one on the Political Matrix.
Yeah, so if y'all, if definitely check out Political Matrix over the weekend. Anyway, but also because Jimmy's gonna be on there, and it should be fun. And she's probably gonna talk shit about people like she always does, fucking talking shit about everybody. I'm like, God damn, how do you eat anything mild when you all be talking spicy all the time? So anyway, she can't say nothing about it except lies in the chat, and so she ain't even listening now. So that's how I know she's not listening to this. Anyway, but we're gonna get out of here. Marcus, thank you so much. Have a great night, sir. I appreciate you as always. Check them out, Political Matrix, and of course, Been Thinking with Marcus Cage. Both quality shows at a low price. So everybody in chat, there's too many of you. I'm too stoned to read. So, but you know I love you. Take care of yourself. Wash your ass, and we'll see you next time. Deuce says, clean ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna find her.